Hey everybody, it's me, Bob Harris, Senior Editor of FootballDiehards.com. Time for your Week 15 injury preview, review, update, and overview. The thing we like to do every Saturday to get you up to speed and let you know all the things you need to be aware of heading into Sunday's games. Except this week we have Saturday games in addition to the Thursday game. Saturday game's already ongoing, a triple header. The Colts are in Indianapolis. Jonathan Taylor left this game in the first quarter, will not return. Justin Jefferson got dinged up, looked like towards the end of the first half, but is probable to return with a chest issue. So be aware of those things. We have games coming up. The Ravens are at the Browns. Lamar Jackson ruled out of that game. And David Bell, the rookie wide receiver, seems unlikely to play. Listed as questionable for the Browns. Hope you're not digging that deep into that receiving core. The Sunday night game is going to be horrible weather, they say, at Buffalo. The lake effect snowstorm going on. Jeff Wilson listed as questionable for this game for Miami, so be aware of that. It's about 2:30 p.m. Eastern time as I record this, so there will be developments that happen afterwards. So as always, check the late-breaking update section of the site. Check the staff rankings to make sure you're up to speed on all the latest developments. That's kind of the good place, a one-stop, kind of destination for all the information you need to know. Look for your players. Find if they have a note next to them. If they do, go read the article and you'll find out where they're at, and especially if they're way off in the rankings of where you would expect them to be. So we'll dive into the Sunday games, and we're starting with the early afternoon window. The Houston Texans are taking on the Kansas City Chiefs in Houston. Dameon Pierce has been ruled out for this game, so Dario Ogunbowale and Rex Burkhead will be the running backs. You know they're going to play both quarterbacks, maybe Jeff Driscoll working alongside Davis Mills at QB will get some run as well. Nico Collins and Brandon Cooks ruled out again this week, so maybe playing from behind, and more Chris Moore. Had a great week last week in the similar circumstances. Philip Dorsett, Amari Rogers also in the mix there as well. On the other side of the ball, Kadarius Toney listed as questionable. Hasn't played since week 11 with the hamstring issue. Could return. Don't know that I'd be digging that deep either on this one. Mecole Hardman is designated to return from IR. You'll check the late-breaking update sections, but it sounds like he's not going to be activated for this week's game. The New York Jets hosting the Detroit Lions. Mike White season comes to a brief hiatus. Mike White ruled out. Went to 10 different doctors to try to get cleared from his rib injury. Would not get cleared. Zach Wilson back in as the starter there. Corey Davis ruled out at wide receiver. Detroit, the injury report is clean, so all the pieces in place that we want. The Chicago Bears taking on the Philadelphia Eagles in Chicago. There is no Chase Claypool. And you probably would have been blissfully unaware if I didn't tell you that. He's ruled out in this game with a knee injury. Justin Fields dealt with an illness earlier in this week. He's off the injury report for this game. For the Eagles, Dallas Goedert could be activated from IR, so you want to watch that update. It's got to happen by 4 p.m. Eastern time, so check the late-breaking update section of the site. And seems like he's on track for that to happen, but it won't be official until then. The Pittsburgh Steelers heading to Carolina to take on the Panthers. Kenny Pickett has been ruled out earlier today, had been listed as doubtful prior to this. Mitchell Trubisky named the starter. Mason Rudolph got some extra work in practice this week. Everyone else off the injury report, though. Deontay Johnson showed up briefly. Pat Freiermuth, Najee Harris all have no injury designations. Good to go. On the other side of the ball, DJ Moore listed as questionable. Weird, because he practiced fully Wednesday and Thursday, and then limited Friday, has an ankle issue. Seems likely to play, but you'll need to watch this one heading into kickoff. Laviska Shenault Jr. also questionable in that game. The New Orleans Saints taking on the Atlanta Falcons. Both tight ends, Juwan Johnson and Adam Troutman, listed as questionable. It looks like, I think it's ankle injuries for both of them. Yeah, Johnson missed the last game. He's been kind of a good touchdown threat when he's healthy, so it'll be worth watching his status. Dwayne Washington, the running back, dealing with illness, also questionable this game. Remember, Mark Ingram has been placed on IR. They picked up Eno Benjamin. They have David Johnson, both available to work behind Alvin Kamara. The New York Giants at Washington in what's essentially a playoff game for these teams. Daniel Bellinger listed as questionable. Richie James was initially listed as questionable Friday. They got clearance from the concussion protocol, so he will play. Saquon Barkley not on the injury report this week. And for the Commanders, everyone's off the injury report. Brian Robinson Jr. and Antonio Gibson limited Wednesday and Thursday, worked fully Friday. They're both off the injury report. Cam Sims, wide receiver, still on it, listed as questionable. Don't dive that deep into this receiving core. The Jacksonville Jaguars will be in Dallas hosting the Dallas Cowboys, and Trevor Lawrence is listed as questionable, seems all but certain to play. Played through the same issue last week. Got more practice time this week. Went to limited on Thursday. Last week didn't do that till Friday. So looks like he's on track. Tough matchup, but not one that he can't beat. Or at least have some success against. Jake Ferguson on the other side of the ball, the tight end, has been ruled out. Tyron Smith, the offensive tackle, was designated to return from IR, activated right before I recorded this video. So there you have that. Good news, Cowboys fan. The late afternoon window, Russell Wilson ruled out for the Denver Broncos, has the concussion. He cleared from the protocol, but they're not going to play him this week. Brett Rippon will get the start. He will be diminished, have a diminished receiving core. Cortland Sutton and Kendall Hinton both ruled out. Hamstring issues for both of them. Jerry Jeudy will be the primary outside threat, and Greg Dulcich could get a little run in a favorable matchup against the Cardinals. For the Cardinals, Marquise Brown came down with an illness. Sounds like he's getting better, but he's listed as questionable. So watch that one. Again, a late afternoon. Rondale Moore, by the way, placed on IR this week. And by the way, Kyler Murray also out for the season with a torn ACL. If you've not been following along at home, was injured Monday night. Colt McCoy will get the start at quarterback in his absence and down the stretch as well. For the Cincinnati Bengals at Tampa Bay, Tyler Boyd and T. Higgins both listed as questionable. We saw what happened with T. Higgins last week. He didn't have an injury designation, had an issue in pregame, snuck on the field for one play when Tyler Boyd was hurt. But it sounds like they're both in better places this week. Tyler Boyd, by the way, it seemed like he was going to miss time. He sounds like he's very ready to go. Both of them practiced fully Friday. They're questionable, but seem likely to play. You'll want to watch this one closely heading up to kickoff. Trent Taylor, who stepped up nicely, when Higgins and Boyd were out last week, is questionable as well with a hamstring issue. So hamstring for Higgins, finger for Boyd. Both seem set to play. Hayden Hurst, the tight end, has been ruled out as expected. On the other side of the ball, Julio Jones listed as questionable with a knee injury. Again, hope you're not digging that deep. Tennessee Titans hosting at the Los Angeles Chargers. Treylon Burks has been ruled out of this game with the concussion. Second straight game he'll miss. Dontrell Hilliard, the running back, also ruled out of this game. Everyone else seems like they're good to go in this one. And it should be a good game. Great matchup for the Chargers passing attack. Sunday night game, Josh Jacobs listed as questionable. It's the Raiders hosting the New England Patriots. Josh Jacobs listed as questionable. Hurt his hand. You saw the pinky finger. Played through it last week. Is going to play through it again. Just named captain this week. Good news for him. So earned the respect of teammates. Was named that by teammates. But has the quad issue to go with the hand. I'm expecting him to play. And he's played successfully through the questionable designation in recent weeks anyway. Last 3 weeks, I'd say. Hunter Renfrow and Darren Waller designated return from IR. You'll want to watch that in the late-breaking updates section to see if they're activated by the 4 p.m. deadline. They've been practicing this week. Hasn't been much word on them, though, so that may be a good sign. On the other side of the ball, Damian Harris ruled out on Saturday morning. Ramondre Stevenson, though, listed as questionable, has a chance to play. Jacoby Myers, questionable, has a chance to play. Devontae Parker ruled out in that game. Sunday Night Football, Rams and Packers. Aaron Jones has been limited in practice this week. That's kind of been the norm. You want to check the injury report. It'll come out shortly after I record this video, so check the late-breaking updates there. And there you have it. Week 15, it's playoff time, people. You know that. You're in the playoffs. Good luck to you. Hopefully, we see you next week when you're advancing in the playoffs. Catch you then.